Hello and welcome to the Comedy Club podcast, recorded right here at the Comedy Club of Kansas City. I am your host, Dustin Kaufman. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe right there, share with your friends, and most of all, just please subscribe. This week, I'm here with comedian Ahren Belisle. Ahren, hello. Al, can you get Al over here having a great time on the pod? He has his dog with him. Al's just having it. Are you having such a good time, Al? Yeah. All right. Thanks for being here, man. This is your second time back at the club. First time you were just doing a one-nighter. And, dude, my dog went crazy on these rugs, too. Like, when I brought my dog the one time, he just scratched at the floor for, like, I'd say a good 2 minutes straight before he just laid still. So it's good to see things are going well for you. Last time, again, you did a one-nighter.
He gets the zoomies after shows.
He knows the weekend's over. He's just excited. Show's over. He gets to hang out with this person.
He might need to shit. He never whines.
Oh, is that the deal? Yeah. Should we take him out? Is he going to be all right?
I'll text Mike.
Okay. So I tried to watch some other podcasts that you were on and try to get an idea of, like, you know, what you've done on podcasts and stuff like that. Because I'll say, I've interviewed a lot of people for a lot of years. I've never, I guess excited to have you, and then just wanted to make sure it went well, because to me it's like there's definitely a timing difference when you're talking to somebody who has that immediate response.
That's why they invented editing. My best podcast was with Lauren Compton because it was question answer really easy to edit.
Did they do editing with it? Oh, we're probably not going to do that. What, to cut the time down and stuff like that? No, I don't want to do that. I don't think that's. Yeah, I don't think I would. I want to do that. I just excited for the. Oh, buddy. Hi, Al. Do you think he's got a? You want to pause?
With Whiskey Ginger, it was hard to keep up. Santino fucking goes.
And Steph Tollef is very much a personality that carries the show, where I try to bring it out of the comedian. Yeah, I try to get, usually I have a different podcast that I'm just relaxed talking this and that, but like for this, I try to like showcase the comic and let them talk and get their story and stuff. So I was like, well, I don't feel like I'm going to be hey, look at me while he taught, you know what I mean? Like I've always that's how I've always done this podcast. He got him. Al's going. See, we might actually edit that. So now you're making us edit. I'm like, we're not going to edit anything. And now we'll just cut that, but that's all right. I'd rather do that than have Al shit on the floor.
It's not going to be good unless you edit it.
We're going to edit. At least that part. So I heard that you said that, I heard you talk about you got into stand-up because you were heckling at a show, if this is correct, in Portugal, and then you got asked if you got asked to come back. Well, if you think it's so good, why don't you come try it? You came out to an open mic and did comedy for the first time. It'd be funny if he was just texting somebody right now.
It sucks because on stage the silence makes everything better, but on Kill Tony there's no space for silence. On podcasts there is no space. It's hard to showcase it.
Is that why you don't like doing podcasts? That because of the timing issue and stuff? Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, it's different, but you have a different voice. I guess that's part of, you're right, in stand-up, you're building.
I'm great on podcasts when they edit it.
Fine, we'll fucking edit. We'll fucking edit.
I was fine on Whiskey Ginger too, but he's special.
Fair. That's fair. All right, so let's talk about first, well, what don't you like about podcasting? I mean, because I think it's more than the timing issue, because like, when we ask you to do it, you're like, I fucking hate them, but I'll do it.
I don't like to talk.
You don't like to type? You don't like to communicate? Are you just kind of an introvert? Yeah. You're like, I don't want to be bothered. It's not that you don't, I don't want to, it's not like, you're not even like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't like talking to people.
I feel like I don't have a lot of interest to ramble on about to people who don't give a fuck.
Do you think that's a lot of the podcasts, that people just don't actually give a fuck? Yeah, they're just like, hey, come on for the ratings so we can have content and stuff like that. That's fair. I mean, there is a business side to it. I think I care. I don't take that as a personal jab. I don't think you are necessarily right. Just like, you don't give a fuck about. But I understand what you're saying. You know, is that partially like just from growing up, not being like communicating as you are, like you just get used and comfortable to not talking as much? Like, do you have, like, when you were hanging out, when you hang out with groups of friends, like, do you sometimes sit behind a little bit and just let them talk and just?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time it's too much effort to even respond. So it's like,
like what? Like, I'm not even going to finish that sentence. It's like, what's the point of even finishing this whole sentence? You know what I'm saying? Do you even give a shit? You don't give a shit. You don't care what I have to say. If you cared about me, you wouldn't make me type this motherfucking out to you.
exactly.
Oh, is that sign language? Does he understand sign? No, you just talk to him. Did you tell him, please get me the fuck out of here?
I said, did you have a good shit?
He's like, absolutely, sir. So are you starting to do? So you started again. First time here was one niner, great, and then our whole weekend here. Although last night, just weird, a couple rowdy groups that was a little different, but for the most part, one thing I really enjoy is like the level of respect that you get from the audience and the silence. Like, usually silence in comedy is bad. Like, job is right to a point, but like the way it's,
I disagree.
If it's too much silence, right? But like the way that you get it is you're building that anticipation and they're giving you the time, and like it's almost like they're just locked on to every word. And it's really cool to see the audience, because it is a little bit different than, right? They do wait for it, but then when you drop the joke and when you drop that, man, they blow up. It's great.
I think the best stand-up comics can't sit in silence. A lot of comics do avoid it. Like, black comics are very energetic, but there's a lot of comics that just sit in silence. It's about controlling tension.
Yeah, I agree that I'll agree with that to a level. I mean, and that's the silence is where you place the sounds, is how you with anticipation and laughter and stuff like that. I guess I was just trying to say that I think the audience really, I like the way that they respond, because it is a different feel than you get with other comics. Like, and to see the level of respect that you command on stage.
A lot of the time I will pretend to type something I already had planned because I want to add tension to a certain line that I know needs 2 more seconds.
That's awesome. Do you think, because you have a lot of it already mapped out, they're like cues, right? But you still, like, the first time I saw you, in fact, maybe even till I heard for a fact that you did that, I didn't, right? It's like, is he really typing? I mean, maybe you assume, but do you think that helps with the audience's like perception? Do you think they like the thinking? It's like pro wrestling. Even though you know he's not, I want to think he is. As far as typing it out.
I type off the cuff all the time. There's both. Crowd work is all off the cuff.
Yeah, absolutely. You're great with the crowd too. You have a lot of fun with them and stuff. We had one lady leave 5 minutes, and just one lady just fight last night somewhere. Just, I can't do this. I can't do this show. You could just see it on her, like for no reason. Just something about just your presence. She's like, nope, not for, like, man.
There's always one old lady from America's Got Talent.
Oh, and you get them all. You let them know really early. Like, this isn't going to be that. We have that with some of the dry bar comedians as well, because dry bar focuses on very clean comedy, and then sometimes, you know, that people work clean for dry bar, but that's not their normal act all the time, right? So then people show up and they're like, what is this?
Why would you do that? I did America's Got Talent cleanish, but it was only 6 minutes. I don't have a clean hour on dry bar, then you're talking about cum.
I think just comics, for the opportunity and the exposure, if they are able to work clean. I know a lot of the comics that I know personally that have done it are clean anyways, and they, you know, able to like do corporate event crew shit, whatever, or just able to work clean. But I know a lot of people will just be as clean as possible for that show. But it's, you know, just general exposure.
I got a college gig next month, and I'm like, fuck, I don't have a clean hour. What the fuck am I going to do?
Are you supposed to work clean for him? Yeah. Just take out the fucks. What's really weird about comedy and perception of clean is like sometimes thoughts can be more offensive than language. You know what I mean? So when you start like editing and censoring, it's like, what am I taking out for? Like, what are, you know, is it just words? Can I, or because, man, like you can leave a lot of words in, but sometimes when you share your opinions, like that's a lot edgier or dirtier than any clean comedy or anything like that. So like, what is my approach on this? How long have you been doing comedy now?
I don't even know. 2.5 years.
Okay. And are you still living in Canada?
I'm in Austin now.
Okay, you're living in Austin. Oh, that's why we wrote the W9 instead of the 8. Are you enjoying living there? Was it a nice move? Is that, you think that's beneficial for your career? Just, yeah, definitely. 2.5 years, man, and you're just killing it. You're already headlining. You have a solid hour.
Yeah, it's good. I'm past at the mothership now, and I'm getting like 3-4 spots a week just there.
Oh, that's fantastic. You know, that's a club that sells every ticket to every show. That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I always say that's like if Johnny Carson owned a comedy club in the mid 80s, that's about how many tickets he probably sells, which is all of them. You know, that's great. Great comics. So congratulations on that. You seem to have a lot of strong opinions about this industry for very early on, 2.5 years into it. Has it been like I don't want to say, has it been a struggle getting into this, or like what has been the negative side of your early journey with this industry?
I'm an engineer. I was never a comedian. I wasn't an artist. So I come in and it's a cesspool, and nothing makes sense. I see everything from like engineering, corporate America, and now I work with alcoholics and shit and people who try to not pay me, and weird shit, and it's like, what have I done?
So that's your perception on comedy, and that's probably a fair assessment for a lot of places. Are you really having people trying to not pay you like road gigs, or is that like on the road in clubs and stuff?
I'm not going to name names, but independent producers and stuff.
Okay. Do you think that you can make changes, or is it's just probably frustrating from a mind who wants to like everything to work and sees how everything should work? Because it is kind of a loose industry, I suppose.
And like the ad thing, I'm a data engineer and I want to put money into stuff, but venues don't want to put in the work to let me be an engineer, so I'm trying to do everything with my one good arm tied behind my back.
You get feedback. You mentioned that. You're getting resistance from clubs, like when you're trying to like advertise yourself. They don't want to give you like the pixels to the website, or do you think they just don't understand how?
They don't know how.
Yeah, that's rough. You have to find people. Did you talk to dude last night? Did he come by?
It's an old industry.
It is an old industry. Yeah, I know. I understand the perception of like, I know the industry has changed though. I see that. I mean, I was on the other side of it for a long time, but you know, being in this industry for 25 years, you understand the perception of how a lot of club owners were, and the people who were in charge of this industry, and the people who were deciding who was going to work and not, and stuff like that. But I guess I can only speak for myself, because I know, you know, there's different people everywhere, but at the top, I know it's different, and there's just not. I think it's two ways. Comics, there's too many places to work, and there's a lot of places to work, and there's a lot of comedians. So where comics don't have to put up with bullshit club owners, shady people, you know, whatever, like not getting paid, talking down, like clubs also, I don't think, have to deal with like fucking crazy fucking like insanely coked out, you know, trouble, like bullshit from comics and stuff like that, like, you know, coming in trying to fuck the whole staff or what. I mean, I think it's both sides, but I do understand how clubs are perceived. But I can say that I think from here,
I think a lot of comics come in and they're like, oh my God, I made $200. This is amazing. Everything is amazing. And I came in as an engineer, so I see things abdicator, you know. It's not that I don't appreciate it. I do. I love it, and I'm tremendously blessed that I get to tour and tell jokes 2 years in and make a living. I just don't have the same rose-colored glasses. And I come in. I don't try to fuck the staff. I tell jokes. I go home.
Dude, my staff loves you. Yeah. You're so easy to work with in the green room, and just to have as a person. You're friendly. You're, you know, I mean, with all the crazy stuff, it's the worst that we're going to do is steam or boil the vegetables. I came back to the kitchen. You guys can eat raw vegetables or whatever. I came back to the kitchen and I'm like, why are there boiled vegetables on the ice tray with the fruits and the cheeses? What are we doing? Like, why is it like this? My brain wanted to explode, but they're like, he asked for this. This is what he wants. At least take it off of the ice before you let it cool down before you put the lid on it. Please, what are you doing? Get the hot vegetables off of the ice.
I love your club. As a joke, I was like, can you steam the vegetable tray? And they did it. And last night as a joke on stage, I am like, oh my God, there's cheesecake. What the fuck? And I took it away from the lady, and the staff brought me some. Yeah, better providing a retarded guy steamed vegetables and a Coke than trying to fuck your staff.
Are you in a relationship? Were you before you moved?
Yeah, I had an ex in Canada. Now I'm seeing someone else.
Did you guys break up because you moved, or had you already kind of?
We had some difficulties. It was hard for her having me gone all the time, and I had some shit to learn about being a good partner.
Oh man, we all have shit to learn about. I think everybody can learn something, but on that, because you were home, you were an engineer, you weren't touring, and then suddenly now you're gonna go out of town for like a week at a time, weeks like what, several times a month. Are you no longer an engineer? No. How long into comedy before you were like, peace, bitches?
I quit my job in July, but I spent a year doing both.
Okay, so you about what, 8 months now? Seven, yeah. Okay. Did you work from home or did you have an office? Because I know a lot of comics.
I was one of the laptop class Elon Musk hate.
I know a lot of comics who work remote find it, they take advantage of that when they're relocating as well, because like, I can keep my job and move, and it makes it really easy to relocate.
How dare these motherfuckers code anywhere but a office?
Just so you were in the office. No? Oh, I guess I didn't.
No, I was remote.
Okay, sorry, I didn't. Does Elon Musk not want people doing coding at home? Is that a thing? Oh, I didn't. I don't follow him too much, so he was not happy. I get what you're saying. He wasn't happy that you were able to just sit at home and just do it. Yeah, okay. It's great though. But so you were able to take your laptop, go on tour, and work, and then work. That's great. That's great, and that. Especially for the first year while you're figuring out if you can do this. That was probably decent. Doubling down on the money too probably wasn't too bad. Are you making more now than you were doing both at the same time, or is it enough that you know you'll get there sooner?
Hard to say. I gross more for sure.
But you spend a lot more too, traveling and stuff like that. Okay. Man, but you're happier. That's probably cool.
Depends on the day.
Plus, you have Al. He travels with you everywhere, I imagine.
Engineering was way easier of a job.
How long have you had your dog? How long have you and Al been together?
December 2019. You do math.
Okay. Yeah, that was shortly after we opened, right before the pandemic, too. It's probably nice to have him once they told you couldn't go out. You're like, hey, but I got Al. What kind of hey, are we talking about you? Yeah.
You opened right before the pandemic.
We did. We opened April of 2019. So we were open less than a year. I've talked about that recently.
How did you survive?
Well, we already didn't have any money. We got shut down for 2 months, and landlords were cool about rent for a while. We didn't have to pay rent for a while, and then by the time we had to start paying rent again, we had already received this called a Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, which was just an enormous amount of money. So it paid off that, and then rent for like a year. But I mean, it was a rebuilding thing. I mean, it was rough. I mean, it was, it was trying to figure it out. I guess you learn how much you can carry and how much fight you have in you by like what you make it through, I guess. So coming out of that, I was like, I think I'm pretty much gonna. The first year here was a mess too, and then that hit, and coming out of that, I'm like, well, if I can make it past these past couple of years, I'm pretty sure I can probably rise above whatever the world's gonna throw at me.
The club seems to be doing well.
Yeah, man, it's great. I mean, we're probably on the growth is definitely there. Last September we fired our entire marketing firm and just hired an in-house team. And like, so there's just a specific person in every place and everybody's just killing it. You know, our Instagram had, I mean, for a comedy club in the Midwest, we had, 600,000 views last month, so well over 500,000. So, I mean, very happy with that growth and the growth of our social presence and stuff. And, even this helps enormously. We put our TV budget into this stuff, so for the post-production and stuff. So, and everyone asks, like, why don't you do do you do radio? Like, no, I don't do radio. I don't. And like, I guess the largest morning show in the city that's been around for 30 plus years just got canceled this week. Like Friday was their last day. So, I mean, it's a whole different industry. You just try to go with where the trends are. You look at like, hey, what's selling tickets for this industry? Let's do that. Let's create content. Let's go to social media, So what kind of things does Al do? Like, is he just having him there, a companion, or does he actually help you do certain things? Post-production guy.
He's a trained service dog. I just wanted a dog, but I was like, I'm not going to get a dog there. Annoying, so I got a free service dog.
Okay.
He can open doors, press buttons, fetch, push, pull.
He can push buttons like on an elevator? Can he be like, third floor, Al? Take me to the penthouse. What kind of buttons does he push?
At my old house, I got an if button where if he pressed it, it could do 911.
Okay. Is that a possibility? Like if you fall or something, just something happens. I mean, obviously, cerebral palsy, right? Mute, is that like, but do you have like, with that, is there ongoing complications medically or with health wise, or it's probably an ignorant side of it just without knowing the details, like life quality through that? I mean, I've heard you mention that you kind of have pain, but are there like what?
It's non-progressive, but symptoms are progressive. Holding your hand like this for 20 years makes it worse.
I can see that. Right. So just like ongoing, like my dad, like, is that in the wrist, or is that tightness in the joints or the muscles, or what is it that? Well, my dad had scleroderma, right? So that was hardening of the skin and the joints. So his fingers
beats the fuck out of me.
Oh, okay. Like his, I thought my dad's like couldn't straighten his fingers at all for a year. Like, and the skin was pulled so tight, and his like knuckles were scabbed, stuff like that. So
cerebral palsy is neuromuscular.
And the cold always affected his hands. Like when it was cold out, it would hurt, because I think there was circulation as well. So within that,
probably my brain doesn't know how to use the muscle that abducts it and it atrophies.
Okay. Talking comedy here. We can talk comedy for a little bit. What's your biggest comedy gut punch so far? Like, just like, are you kidding me moment in this industry so far? Just like worst gig, worst travel, worst encounter, meeting.
I did a gig in Louisiana where the guy brings me to a green room, and it has a toilet in the middle of the room full of shit, and 4 tickets get sold.
Oh my God. The toilet was in the middle of the green room? Like, not even. So is the green room the bathroom, or they were just, let's put the toilet in the middle of the floor?
I think it was a bathroom.
And it had shit in it.
But it was like the size.
It was human shit. Somebody had. Does it flush? Did the toilet? You don't even know. I'll be out there in the showroom if anybody needs me. I think there's plenty of seats, meaning you only have 4 tickets sold.
I left immediately.
Immediately. Did you perform? Yeah. All right.
I don't like being like, I'm not going to perform.
Yeah, I could see that. Have you walked out and refused to perform anywhere? No. If there was ever a time, that would have been it. Yeah. What's the opposite side? What's the best moment of your career so far? Obviously, it's not all shitty toilets in the middle of green rooms and 4 tickets.
It's a weird industry, man. You get times with 4 tickets and a shitty fucking toilet green room. Other times you're doing sold-out shows getting standing ovations. It's kind of hard to stay sane, dude, because it's so fucking polarizing.
Yeah. It's the ups with the downs. It's almost the kind of thing where you really appreciate those ups, but you also don't want to take them for granted because you know that they're not always that day. A little bit.
I come from a family of anger and alcohol. I was always a really negative, bitchy person, especially as a disabled guy who got fucked over by life all the time. When I go through those downswings, it's really hard to not fall back into old patterns that I did a lot of therapy to get out of, to be grateful for things.
I could see that. So are you just mad at life a little bit? Is it hard to not be? Or, I mean, the way it sounds, you're saying with that, you know, like a little.
I used to be.
Okay. You do drink. It was funny, Friday night, you're like, can I get another drink? This is before your first performance. I'm like, what are you drinking? You're like, Double Crown and Coke. And I'm like, wow, look at that. 2 Double Crowns before the first show even started. Normally, and I instinctually want to be like,
the shows were fun, were they not?
the shows were fine, Ahren. Like, the shows were fine. I'm not, instinctually, I wanted to be like, that's, you know, but sometimes I think if a person gets drunk, it's, you know, too drunk, but you have everything mapped out. It's like, have you gotten too drunk? No. It's probably too, I mean, everyone's good at drunk texting, right? So it's probably not quite as difficult when everything is mapped out, I guess. You just push.
If you ask a lot of other club owners, they would tell you I don't drink. I'm an adult. I do what I want. Sometimes I drink, sometimes I don't. But I'm a professional.
Yeah. I'm glad you feel, yeah. I mean, I'm not judging for it. It's maybe a little at first. I don't care. I mean, I don't give a shit. I was just like, like, are we going to be, obviously people drink in this industry.
I'm 30 years old. I don't get blackout drunk. I'm a professional.
Dude, I've never blacked out in my life. I remember everything that's ever happened when I've drank. It's like, I think I'd rather black out sometimes. Like, please, Lord, let me forget this night. No, Dustin, you will remember this forever.
The shows were good.
The shows were great. Say it.
Shut the fuck up.
All right, now he's defensive. Now the alcoholic's coming out of him. Why don't you go fuck yourself, man, and give me another Crown and Coke? That's so funny. No, I'm saying I think it's almost probably it'd be harder to fuck up your show maybe due to drinking because it's what no timing is still timing. Yeah.
I use a phone. Do you type better drunk?
I don't do much good drunk. I don't I don't drink that much anymore. Because I didn't like the feeling of not being in control of myself, I think. Big pothead, but pot just feels sluggish, I guess. Like I've never been like, let's get drunk and watch a movie. Like I don't know. That's a different.
But I like doing shows when I drink. Yeah. I act out more and have fun.
Loosen up and stuff like that. Yeah. I could see that.
I can't relate to not being in control because I don't drink to that point.
I don't drink hardly at all, so, but I don't feel like after a couple, I just feel more sluggish. And like, I think when you drink, for me, after like several drinks, I just don't, I don't feel like, I guess just on my game. I just feel a little more like, I don't know, looser, more like, but not if you get too drunk. Like, I don't know. I guess drunk. The word is drunk. I guess I don't like feeling drunk is all it comes down to anymore. I had my days. I hit my line. I probably buy the most alcohol of any person buys who doesn't drink it. So I'm a dealer who doesn't do his product, man. What can I say?
I don't drink much.
Yeah. So with your engineer brain, if there was one thing, what's a couple things you would actually like to fix in comedy coming in? Because, I always want this industry to be better. What's a couple things you would, if you could, I think there should be some kind of union. Agents would hate it, but I'd love to see everybody on a union. Hey, you're getting comics like health benefits and stuff like that, but then you have like a standard pay structure that allows everybody to make money based off ticket sales and stuff like that. Especially like where I think the audience is less interested in TV credits and more interested in like, are you funny? Like, can I follow you? Can I see content regularly? Stuff like that. I think it just opens the doors where it's like, well, we're not going to pay this guy money because he was on a TV show in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like, where if this person can come in and sell tickets, they can make the same amount as this person who's selling tickets. So it's also, agents can be real shysters.
I would like clubs to give comics the data they need. I would like clubs to actually collect data and do proper marketing like a real business. Like if you have Billy at your club from Dry Bar, and he talks about religion, and you had Bob who talks about his religious experience, and you have all those emails, you should be doing lookalike marketing and collecting data and using it. These days it's all put on the comic. And like, okay, I have 1 million followers, but I have 3 in any given city, and I can't target them. I post on TikTok, and fucking 1% of them see it.
Yeah, I think it's mutual. It needs to be both. It's such a weird time too. I agree. It can't just all be on the comedian. I definitely agree with that. But I do think, on that line, there's still a lot of comics sitting there with 500,000 followers who don't promote themselves at all. And it's like that's crazy on the other end. Marketing where radio is...
And I think you and Side Splitters and Bark are some of the best establishments that actually do more work to help.
Well, thank you. Thank you. But no, these days where radio's dying, TV, people see it. Where it is so social media driven, comics have the ability to sell their tickets more than ever. And comics have the ability to pave their way more than ever. And I do think it should definitely be a mutual. I think everybody should be working together to make it better, because we have the opportunity to right now to make clubs the best that they've been in a long time, because there's so many comics with followings, and clubs, if they just put the right resources and marketed properly, could be doing every bit. You know what I mean? I agree with that. I understand what you're saying too about targeting and data. I get all that. I do. I do want to say that it's not totally black and white, because a lot of people in this industry, at least for us, just want to go see a show. You're looking for something to do. The last minute ticket buyers, things to do this weekend, people. some of them don't even care who's at the comedy club. They just want to go see something. And we have people who come out every week, twice a month, every month, you know what I mean? Like, we have a lot of regulars. So, like, I think you're kind of shutting them, but I understand what you're saying. And there was a time where I felt we were sending too many emails. And then so we cut back to, like, we stopped for just a little bit with as many, just at bare minimum, just to kind of reset it. And I think we have, like, a nice pace now where, like, we send it out, we actually get, people are responding and stuff like that. I also think with the comping, it makes it rough too. Like, that's like sending email blasts. Like, a lot of clubs have trained their audiences to not buy tickets or to wait till the last minute to buy tickets because it's Friday, here comes our promo code email, stuff like that. I didn't comp at all for the entire first year we were opened. And then COVID happened and it was just a giant shit show. I mean, you couldn't even give away tickets during COVID. But putting value back into the comedy club ticket was really important to me. And my business plan didn't include giving away 500 tickets a week. But then again, I didn't have a business plan either, Ahren, so.
But you don't need to comp to send targeted emails. Like if you had Josh Blue here, you could email all those people and be like, hey, Drew Lynch is coming, you should get tickets. Just so people know.
But those people will receive the email anyways, correct? But you're saying send a specific one. Hey, thanks for coming to Josh. Since you're here with Josh Blue, we really think you'd appreciate Ahren Belisle. Check him out, right? That's all you're saying. Even if you just send that out early to get early, and then they can still get the one later. Okay. We're going to start sending more emails now. You just gave Jeremy a lot more work to do. Yeah, he's not going to be mad. He's going to be mad about that.
Every time I do a gig, I get messages the next week, and people are like, hey, come to Kansas City. And I'm like, I was just fucking there.
That's going to happen anywhere. I mean, you can't. There's 2 million people in the city. You're not going to reach all of them. You know what I mean? That's just reality. You're not going to, it always happens. It does. You should bring in them. Well, we just had them. Like, you should pay attention a little bit. I mean, look, if there's somebody, like, if we're bringing somebody in, and they miss, I mean, I think they don't want to be found because we do a really good job.
I'll give you an example. Like, you could message everyone that came to my shows to tell them Harland Williams is coming.
Is that because of Kill Tony? Yeah. We have a few people like that. Dude, I love seeing Harlan right now too. Like, we had him last year. Sales were really good. And then, like, we have him here in a few weeks and, like, they're even better. You can really see, like, because of his, like, Kill Tony and his, like, Rogan appearance and just a lot of the stuff he's been doing. It's amazing. It's great. And people are so excited to see his face every time. Just a monster of a comic. So funny. Such a funny person. Like, just, he has a can of soda and he just like slurp. He doesn't tilt. He'll just sit there and have a conversation like that's how he drink. I don't even think I can. It's empty, but it's very. He says it's because it's frothier. It keeps it frothy, like it's creates the. I don't know. After his tapeworm on Rogan, I don't know if he was fucking with me or not. Am I just gonna do this to fuck with him and drink this Coke this way, or is that really how he drinks Coke out of a can? Well, man, it is late. I appreciate you coming on and doing this with us. Where can people find you online? You have anything coming up that you want to push?
I'm not hard to find. Mute Comedian. Still the only one. I'm on tour. MuteComedian.com. Instagram. whatever.
Awesome. Follow Ahren online. Thanks for being here, dude. Thanks for coming back to the comedy club. I hope you had fun this weekend on the shows. I think above all, that's my number one goal is to make
I like it here.
Good. I like hearing that. I just want comics to be comfortable when they're in the building, and I want them to have fun on stage. And if those things are happening, then I'm happy. So hopefully you keep coming.
This is one of my favorites.
Can I fist bump? Keep coming back, being comfortable, and having fun. So, all right. We'll see you next week, guys. Check out Ahren. Follow him. One of the best working today. Thanks, guys.